welcome to my channel. My name is Erica, and in today's video, I am collabing with two of my dearest friends and two of the most amazing creators here on this platform, Smiley Shani and Jan Van. Now, we've done monthly collabs together for quite some time now, and I just love doing this with these two amazing ladies because we always have tons of fun together. And of course, I will link both of their channels in my description box if you guys have not yet gone to their channels and subscribed and discovered how absolutely amazing both of them are. I highly recommend you do so immediately. So this time around, Shani has come up with 20 questions, all who is more likely. So there's a bunch of different things for us to answer, and our goal or our job, our task, is to figure out of the three of us, who is more likely to do or not do these things. And they are amazing questions. This is going to be an absolute blast. And I decided for my eye look today to pull out the Saints, Angels, Sinners and Eyescream Beauty Box, the Friendsgiving palette. This was gifted to me from Andy Does Stuff. And I'm a huge fan of this brand, and I think this color story is absolutely gorgeous, and I'm really excited to put a look together with this palette. I think I'm going to be going maybe a little bit more monochromatic today for my look, is what I'm thinking. And I'll go into the shades as I apply them to my lids. But I also figured, because I'm doing a collab with two of my dear friends, that the Friendsgiving palette fit in quite nicely with this collab today. So yeah, I have both of my brows done. Both eyelids are primed in the P. Louise eyeshadow base in Rumor 01. Of course, I'll be doing both eyes on camera today. So I'm just gonna start getting into this look and answering the questions. So I think what I'll do is start off with this shade right here, and this is called Stuffing. Yeah, this is a beautiful kind of like mauve-y pink shade, putting that in my transition area. Now, the first question is, who is most likely to argue with their pet? I would have to say Shani. Shani has a cat named Rose, who is my adopted niece, okay? So she is just one of the most precious beings in my life. I've never met her in person, but I've seen her a bajillion times on Marco Polo, and I am madly in love with Rose, okay? And Jan also has two cats that I'm also madly in love with, Puppers, who is a kitten, and Cat, who's an older guy. And I also have two cats, Reggie and Bitsy. But quite often in Shani's Marco Polo messages, she and Rose will be having a full-on argument. And Rose contributes to the argument as equally as Shani does. You know, I mean, they have full-on conversations and arguments with each other. Absolutely. And they're very reasonable arguments. I mean, you know, like, it's not strange that a human is arguing with a cat, because I believe that all cats are people. Like I tell them, my cats all the time, you guys are real persons all the time. So, you know, it's not strange. It's wonderful, actually, because they always get through their arguments and they're always just back to being madly in love with each other. But typically it's because Rose wants to kind of crowd Shani's space. You know, Shani just wants to maybe sit by herself, lay by herself. And Rose is like, oh, no, no, I'm going to be all over you. And you're going to let me be all over you, period, whether you want to or not. There was this one particular Marco Polo message that Shani sent us, and she was basically telling Rose not to do something. And it was the funniest thing I've ever heard in my life, and I laughed hysterically about that for so long. I actually saved the message and have gone back and watched it, that particular chunk of the message, I don't know how many times. So damn funny. Number two, who is most likely to be on the news for being involved in a scam? God. I don't think any of us would perpetrate a scam ever. You know, I don't think any of us would ever do anything like that. But I would say that I would be the most likely to fall for a scam, because I've almost fallen for several scams. The most recent was one on Instagram. I got this message saying something like, we're going to shut down your Instagram account unless you, and it was saying it was coming from Instagram, unless you like log into this thing with your username and password. And if you don't do that, we're going to shut your page down or account down in like 24 hours. And I started to fall for it. I was like, oh, I type it in my username, and I almost got to my password, and I thought, hold on. because I know that Instagram can be very shady with stuff. And so what I did is I took a screenshot of the message that they sent me and I put it up on my Instagram account, also telling Jan and Shani all about this as I'm doing it on Marco Polo. And everyone's like, it's a scam. Look at how it's written. Like, some of it was in English, some of it was in French. It really made no, parts of it made no sense. And people are like, don't fall for that. It's a scam. But not kidding, I almost fell for it. I felt so stupid. And I don't really feel like Jan or Shani would ever fall for a scam, ever. So I guess I'm gonna have to vote for myself on this one and say I would fall for a scam. Okay, I love that color. It's very pretty. So I want to deepen this up a little bit. So I'm going to go to this shade here called Burnt and put that in my outer V into my crease area. Number 3, who is most likely to have an evil twin? Who is most likely to have an evil twin? I think it would be Jan, because that would be the most juxtaposition, I feel like, out of the 3 of us to have an evil twin. I think it would be Jan, because Jan is such a sparkly light, bright light, you know, and very kind and very sweet and very loving. So is Shani. I don't mean that Shani isn't, because she is very much, but I could just see how, like, a dichotomy it would be for Jan to have an evil twin. It'd be hysterical, I think. Out of the 3 of us, I feel like Jan's evil twin would just be like, what? How is that even possible that Jan has an evil twin? You know, like, that's what pops into my head. And I would say that her name would be Janine. Jan and Janine. Oh gosh. Let's see. Number 4, who is most likely to fake a foreign accent? I would say me, just because I've done that multiple times in my life. I've faked a British accent out in public. A friend of mine and I, when we were like, what, college, maybe high school, around there, we would often go out into public and fake a British accent. And every so often, people would fall for it. They'd be like, oh, whereabouts in England are you from? But there was a few times where people were like, you guys are full of shit. And we're like, we are. But it was still really fun. I love it. And I love to speak in a British accent often, even though I sound awful. And Steph has really teased me about that. Not in a mean way, a kind way, just that I sound like, I don't sound British at all. So, oh, too funny. I love the shade too. It's beautiful. It's deepening up the crease and the outer V very nicely. Really like it a lot. I love the I love the Saints, Angels, Sinners matte formula. Number 5, who is most likely to fall asleep on the couch? I would say Shani, only because she was sick recently and she was like saying how she was starting to like text someone and she was so damn tired because she wasn't feeling good that she would like fall asleep and wake up and there would be a string of like S's or D's on the text because she'd fallen asleep while she was texting. You know, also while we were Marco Poloing, I think a couple times she started to like, oh wait, I'm talking. I also am known to fall asleep on the couch quite often. Usually at night after dinner, I will, you know, lay down on the couch and start watching a program on TV and just, and my husband frequently will wake me up, be like, do you want to go to bed or do you want to sleep on the couch? What do you want to do here? So I would say Shani or I would do that. Number 6, who is most likely to fill the grocery cart with junk food? I would say me, because I typically will go to the grocery store when I'm starving, which I know you're not supposed to do that, and I'll just load my cart up with a bunch of crap. I do that often. So now I think I'm going to go into this shade right here called Friendship and put that right here, and then I'm going to put this lighter shade called Pumpkin Pie, although that's more orangey, huh? Let me swatch that and see what I think. It's kind of, I'm using it. It's kind of an orangey pink. I think that's going to look really pretty. Okay, cool. So starting off with Friendship, putting that right there. I do try to like eat before I go to the grocery store. I do, but often I don't. And then I get lots of stuff that I shouldn't be getting. And I don't really feel like Jan or Shani do that. I really don't. Shani will often like do her grocery ordering online, you know, and have it delivered. And I don't really think I've ever heard, I mean, you know, every once in a while she gets some fun stuff, sure. But I feel like I'm the junk food junkie of this trio for sure. Number 7, who is most likely to survive alone on a deserted island? And I would say Jan, because Jan knows everything about everything, okay? So if she got to a deserted island by herself, she would know exactly where to find shelter, food, water. She would know every medicinal plant that is there, every life force, source, whatever that is there. She would do amazingly well if she were stranded on a deserted island, because she would know everything. Shani and I would be like bumbling around, having no clue what we were doing. And Jan would just be the calm, cool, and collected one, knowing exactly what to do. And I just think that she would be the best choice out of the three of us to do well on a deserted island by herself. Let's see. Number 8, who is most likely to ignore a phone call? Who is most likely to ignore? I would say either Shani or myself, because, you know, Shani's a therapist and she's really busy. I mean, that woman goes 90 miles an hour all day long, okay? And so I do feel like at times if her phone rings, she's probably gonna avoid answering just because she's too busy to answer it, you know, and she needs a minute to just like collect herself and get on to the next task. I will do that too on occasion, just because I have a job where I answer the phone constantly. And there are times when I just cannot do a phone conversation with anybody because I'm just, you know, I'm just maxed out. It's not that I, you know, don't necessarily want to talk to people. I'm just up to here, you know. I don't want to deal with the phone ringing anymore. I don't feel like Jan would do that. I really don't. So now I'm going to go into pumpkin pie, which might be a strange choice for this look, but I'm going for it. I think it's going to brighten it up, and it's very multi-chromy. It's beautiful. Ooh, yeah, this is going to be really fun. Number 9, who is most likely to back you up in an argument even if you are wrong? I would say that all three of us would do that for each other. I think that, like, I would do that for them and they would both do that for me, you know? I will say, ooh, yeah, that's beautiful. Ooh, it's got some green in it. Ooh, yeah, that's really fun. Fun. This is adding a different dimension to the eye look, I feel like. Maybe taking it out of monochromatic land. Oh, that's beautiful. I do feel like, though, that Jan and Shani both will tell me when I'm wrong, and in a very loving and kind way. I do. But I also know that both of them would absolutely go to bat for me in most situations, every situation, really. Even if I was wrong, you know, they might tell me that, you know, you're wrong, but I'm still gonna be on your side here. And I would do the same thing for them too, you know, absolutely. I mean, we have such a wonderful bond, the three of us, and we have shared so many things about our lives with each other. We know each other so well. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like we would do that for each other. Absolutely. Like I said, we might whisper, you're still wrong, but we'd still back each other up. Number 10, who is most likely to give you a nickname? See, that's a hard question because we all have nicknames for each other. But I will say that Jan is like the nickname queen. She has nicknames for everybody. And, you know, I have nicknames for people in my life, and so does Shani. But I really feel like Jan has that title of the three of us, because pretty much everyone in Jan's life has a nickname. And I just love it. It did take me a while to figure out who everybody was according to their nicknames, you know, like her family members and stuff. I'm like, no, wait, who's this person? Who's that? Who do they belong to? But once I got that figured out, now I know who everybody is. And it's wonderful. And they're wonderful nicknames. Jan's nickname for me is Gracie Lou, which I love. I love that. And I don't know where that came from, but it's wonderful, you know, and I think it fits me very well. So yeah, and I call Jan Janny Boo, or my Janny, and I call Shani my baby bear. So it's wonderful that we all have nicknames for each other. Okay, I think what I might do is go into friendship with my finger just a little bit and I got my nails done. So this isn't always the easiest thing for me to do with nails on, but I'm gonna attempt it. Number 11, who is most likely to steal hotel toiletries? Who is most likely to steal hotel toiletries? Speaking today is not my strong suit, apparently. Honestly, I'd probably say myself, because I do that. My husband and I have been staying in hotels here and there when we go visit my daughter and my grandson. And I typically will take the makeup wipes that are on the sink and the lotion, and I'm gonna go in there with the other shade too. You know, I do that. I don't know if Jan or Shani take hotel toiletries. I don't know if they do. I mean, I would assume they probably have. I'm sure everybody does that at some point. You know, I mean, why not? It's free. So, you know, might as well have some fun and take some free stuff. But yeah, I don't know. I'm guilty of doing that quite often. Which, is it something to be guilty of? I mean, they're there for a reason, right? Am I trying to talk myself out of being a thief? I love those shimmers together. God, that's gorgeous. Okay, so I do want to go back over the edge of that. I thought about maybe putting the black matte into this, but I like this. I want to just keep it more light, I guess. Number 12, who is most likely to take a world cruise? I would say Jan. Jan is the cruise expert amongst the three of us. I'm pretty sure, I think Shani's gone on a cruise before too, but Jan's gone on many, and knows all the ins and outs of a cruise and where to go and how to, you know, arrange the whole situation here. I've never been on a cruise. Cruises make me a little nervous just because you're on a big boat, you're out in the middle of the ocean, you can't see any land. It makes me nervous. I know that's dumb. My husband's like, oh geez, because he would really like for us to go on a cruise together. But yeah, I mean, Jan's just the cruise aficionado. And it's really fun to listen to her talk about the cruises that she's been on, like the experiences that she's had on her cruises. Sounds amazing. I have very irrational fears. Number 13, who is most likely to give the best gift? There's no way in the world I could pick between Jan or Shani. I don't think I'm the one to give the best gift, but out of Jan and Shani, they have both sent me the most amazing gifts and very special gifts, and you know, I treasure the things that they've sent me. I went back into the shade Stuffing again. So, I mean, I can't say that one of them gives better gifts than the other one. No way. They both have sent me some amazing things. So, you know, they're both amazing gift givers, and I'm very fortunate to have them both in my life for many reasons, of course, a million reasons, too many to list here. But part of it is just the very special and touching gifts that they've sent me. Number 14, who is most likely to push a pull door? I would say either Shani or myself. And now in Shani's situation, it's because she's doing a million things. She's like a woman on a mission. She's going to do whatever she's going to do, and she just doesn't have time to see if you pull or push the door open, okay? Like, just get the door out of the way. For myself, it's because I'm a ding-dong and don't pay any attention to what the hell I'm doing. Jan, again, you know, she knows everything. So she's going to know. She's going to scout it out ahead of time and know which door is the push door and which door is the pull door. I'm actually going to go into my e.l.f. contour palette because I just don't like the edge of that pink shade. I'm going to go into the shade right here and just put that around the edge there just to kind of tone that down a little bit. Number 15, who is most likely to spend their evening reading? I would say Shani. Either that or listening to an audiobook. You know, quite frequently Shani will listen to audiobooks and you know, share what she's listening to with us, and it's really interesting. I like that. Shani, though, actually got me the Billy Idol memoir after I did my makeup and artist video about him, because I mentioned in that video that he had a memoir that I hadn't read yet, and she got it for me. You know, I mean, that's what I mean about the gift giving. You know, and then, like, I've been complaining about, I know we're not on this question anymore, but I was complaining about how hot it was in here, and Jan sent me a fan. You know, just very thoughtful, loving, wonderful gifts. I have things for them I need to mail to them. I'm going to do that probably tomorrow after work. Oh, I suck. I really suck. Number 16, who is most likely to finish a pint of ice cream in one sitting? I could see all three of us doing that. All three of us finishing a pint of ice cream in one sitting, for sure. Well, maybe not Janny, because she doesn't really like to get cold. It's not good for Janny to get cold. So, I don't know. Well, I don't know if I would lump Shani into this. I'm just going to vote for myself because I do that quite often. My husband and I quite frequently will get Ben and Jerry's. I don't think that's a pint. Is that a pint? Yeah, it's a pint. A gallon is the bigger one, right? I don't know. Don't ask me any measurement or any kind of scientifical question because I won't be able to answer it. But I frequently will eat the entire Ben and Jerry's little tub of ice cream. I mean, yeah, no questions asked. I'm going to eat the whole damn thing. Boom. All right, so now I'm going to do my lower lash lines. I did pop a little bit of my Maybelline Instant Age Rewind Concealer in Ivory on down here, and this is in my panning project. I rolled it out, but I'm just going to continue to use it and see how many more uses I can get until my next check-in. So I'm not putting anything in my lower water lines anymore because it just messes my eyes up. I miss doing that, but just doesn't work for me right now anyway. I might go back to doing it, but So I think what I'll start doing, I can't just put these two in my lower, on my lower lash lines because I'm going to look sick. So I am going to pop a little bit of the black. But I think what I'll do is start off by putting this shade right here, Burnt, on my lower lash lines first. Number 17, who is most likely to start their day with coffee? And I would say Jan. Jan has mentioned to us many times that until she's had some coffee in the morning, she's not real happy. She's not going to be real chatty or really want anything to do with anything until she's had coffee. And Shani and I both love coffee too, but I would say that Jan is the one who get out of her way until she's had some coffee. All right. Like she's not going to sit down and play a game of checkers with you unless she's had her coffee. No way. And like I get up in the mornings on the weekdays and I don't really have any coffee until I get to work. And I think Shani has coffee in the mornings. And Shani also commonly has chai lattes, I think. Is that right? That better be right, or I'm going to feel like a real jerk. But I know Shani does like coffee too, of course. I just know out of the three of us, we don't really hear from Jan unless she's had some coffee first. Number 18, who is most likely to use curse words? Me. I have a bit of a potty mouth. I do tone my potty mouth down here on my channel just because I mean, I don't just have a potty mouth randomly. Well, sometimes I do. Usually it's situational, and usually it's when I'm irritated with something. I will swear quite a bit. Or I'm just being totally goofy. I might swear quite a bit too. But I don't swear a lot on my channel just because I know it's offensive to a lot of people. And I don't think it's necessary to do it here. You know, it's just not the environment, I don't think, that really constitutes a lot of swearing. I mean, I swear. Yeah, I have. Shani swears, but she does it in a very PG fashion. Like she'll say flip instead of F. Or she'll say fudge knocker, which I love that. I have now gotten into saying fudge knocker. I said it as a kid, but I say it now as an adult because of Shani. It just cracks me up when she says that. Jan does swear too sometimes too. She does. I'm going to go into this and just kind of blow that out a little bit. But I would say I'm the worst. I have the biggest potty mouth out of all of us. Oopsie. Number 19, who is most likely to laugh in a serious situation? I would say Shani, and not in a disrespectful way, but you know, there are times when we're on Marco Polo and Jan and I are having a rough day, or you know, we're just getting real heavy in our conversations. So does Shani and I too. So do the three of us together, we can. But I know that if like Jan and I are getting real down or getting real heavy, serious about a conversation about something, hold on just a second. I don't know what that is. I think the cats are out in the hallway playing with something. That keeps up, I'll have to go out and tell them to stop. But that was weird. I was like, what is that? But Shani commonly will get, you know, come onto Marco Polo and she'll have a joke, or she'll say, you know what, you guys, we need to lighten this up. And so she'll talk about something really funny, and it just kind of, I don't know, makes us all just kind of scale back from the real heavy duty emotional conversations. I mean, you know, and Shani's also very supportive if we need to have that kind of conversation, if something serious is going on and we need to have that kind of emotional support. Of course, I mean, Shani's a therapist, so she is wonderful at the emotional support part of it. But I do know that she does provide a lot of comedic relief when we need it, and I love that about her. You know, it's wonderful. I have laughed through tears because of her being so funny so many times, and it's been really wonderful to have that piece in our threesome for sure. So now I'm going to go into the shade Soul Sisters, and just I'm not going to put it all the way across the lower lash lines, just towards the latter half, I think. The last question here is, who is most likely to never manage a poker face? Again, I'm going to have to vote for Shani, because she's not somebody who, well, I mean, she kind of can, but like, for instance, when you're watching her get ready with me in the news videos, her facial expressions are sometimes funnier than what she's talking about, because her face just gives her away, you know? She'll be so like perplexed by something somebody's done or said or whatever in the news story, and she's like, so, I mean, that's a horrible impression, because I can't do it nearly as good as she can. But there are times when I've had to pause her face in whatever expression that she's making, so I can just revel in her facial expression. It's amazing. It really is. I feel like Jan has a poker face down pretty good. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like in a situation, if, I don't know, like the three of us together were out in public or something, and I don't know, I'm trying to think of a scenario, and somebody came up to us and was like being totally out of whack or off the wall, I feel like Jan could be like, oh, really? You know, like she could maintain that. I don't know that Shani or I could do that. I don't know. But yeah, I definitely think that, yeah, Shani would be the one that, out of the three of us, that her facial expressions are the best. They really are. They're so wonderful. Okay, I don't know how I feel about the black out here, but I'm going to put some black liner on my upper lids. I think that'll tie it together a little bit better. But I'm done answering the questions. I'm done with my look. I'm going to go off camera, do the rest of my stuff. I'll come back. So this is my finished look, and I love how this look turned out. It was really fun to finally get out the Saints, Angels, Sinners Friendsgiving palette and create a look with it. Really like how it turned out. I'll show you the palette again here in just a moment, but let me show you just a few things I put on my face for my finished look. On my lips, I used a liquid lipstick from She Glam. This is the shade Momojo. I really love this shade. I thought it looked really would look really nice with my eye look today, of course. So I threw it on my lips. And then for my upper lid liner, I used the Wet n Wild Breakup Proof Waterproof Felt Tip Liner in black. And I'm still using the Banger Mascara by Makeup Mecca. I love this. So now let's talk about the eyeshadow palette, Saints, Angels, Sinners, and Eyescream Beauty Box Friendsgiving palette. Now this is a very unique color combo, and I went more tame today, did a more monochromatic look, but I loved throwing this shade Pumpkin Pie towards the front part of the lid because it kind of broke up the monochromaticness of the look a little bit, provided a little bit of a surprise, I would say, surprise element with this really pretty green and pink, kind of bright pink and bright green flip. It's beautiful. I love the mattes that I used. I love this shimmer shade as well. I don't know how I feel about the black on my lower lash lines. Nothing wrong with the black shade. I don't know. Just application error, I think. I don't know. Maybe it's all right. I mean, I think it looks better now that I have the black felt tip liner on my upper lids, but love the palette, love the brand. This is such a fun brand. I have so many of Saints, Angels, Sinners palettes now in my collection, and there's still several I still need to film with, which I will be doing soon. But this was such a fun collab, as I knew it was going to be. I cannot wait to watch Jan and Shani's videos, see their looks come together, hear the answers. I wonder if we're all similar, we're all completely different. It's going to be really fun to see how each of us looked at each of the questions and how we answered about each other. And I know I've said this a million times. I'm going to continue to say this every time I collab with Shani and Jan. They are such wonderful, special women and friends and sisters in my life. I think about this pretty much daily, that I don't really know how I got through life without these two amazing people. I really don't, because we have such a wonderful bond with each other, and they have been there for me through so many things since we got this trio together. You know, I can share anything and everything with them, and they can do the same thing with me. I hope they know that. And it's just such a beautiful friendship. You know, it's like we're family. And that's the wonderful thing about friendship. I believe it's the family that you choose for yourself. And I feel very lucky and very honored and very blessed to have them in my life. And I think you will be very honored and very lucky and very blessed if you go to their channels and subscribe if you haven't done that yet already. And I'm really looking forward to our next collab. Thank you guys so much for taking time out of your lives to sit down and watch this video. If you're new here and you enjoyed what you saw, please consider subscribing, smash the like button, and of course, comment down below in the comment section. I love to chat with you guys there. If you've been here before, thank you so much for coming back. I cannot wait to see you guys again in my next video. But in the meantime, please take very good care of yourself. Be well, safe, happy, and I'll see you soon. Bye.
Drop it.